great now. You're just trying to find a way out. I don't want to tell you how to live, but I just don't want you to miss. And I don't mean to scare you. I want you to live, and I dare you to give this life all you have. Yeah, all you don't get it twisted. We're on a mission to live life legendary. Yeah, we are legendary. We are legendary. We are not ordinary. We are legendary. You will remember our names. We are legendary. Living extraordinary. We are legendary. You.
Panther Friday night on Tradio, the Arlington Seguin Cougars and the Colleyville Heritage Panthers. It's all coming up next right here on Tradio.
He's into the end zone for the touchdown.
That's 6. Panther Friday night on Tradio. Glad you've taken some time to join us this evening for this big district matchup in 3-5A D2, the Colleyville Heritage Panthers and the Arlington Seguin Cougars. Arlington started the year off 5-0. They've lost back-to-back games. They sit at 3-2 in district play, while the Panthers are 4-2, 3-1 in district action, coming off a 41-7 victory last week. I'm Will Connerly, happy to be with you tonight. Our good friend and the TCU Hall of Fame linebacker Shannon Brazil not with us this evening, but certainly will be back with us at some point soon down the road. And we're going to have a good time tonight on Panther Friday night, and the Panthers hope to have a good time. We caught up earlier this week with head football coach Jerry Edwards, and well, here's what he had to say about the matchup.
Here on Panther Friday night on Tradio, joined alongside head football coach Jerry Edwards. Coach, big battle here tonight on the road. How excited are you for this matchup?
Every opportunity to get out there to get on the grass and showcase our team, we're always excited. Another big 3-5A matchup again this week, just like every other week. Our kids are ready to go on a short week and ready to get after it.
Yeah, short week, playing on Thursday night. How big of an impact does that have on your team compared to Friday night?
I don't think it has a huge impact. I mean, we lose a day of practice, but, we're creative in how we make sure we prepare, and then this late in the season, week 7, game 7, if you ain't figured it out by now, you're not going to figure it out. There's things that we can improve on, but the overall practice habits, mentality, focus should be there.
For your opponent tonight, on the road. You're going up against a team, opposed to last week, a team that's closer to the top of the standings. What do you know about Seguin, and what challenges do they bring to the table?
A very, very athletic team. Now they do a lot of the same kind of scheme that Everman did, so it was good for us last week to kind of practice that and get ready. But, a very athletic football team, a quarterback that is very, very mobile. They got a couple big-time receivers that can go up and get the ball, a little running back that, is all over the place and make big plays. And so, we got to limit what they do. Offensively, we got to keep the scoring down. And then, on the defensive side of their ball, they, once again, a super athletic team. Our offensive's got to be really good at moving the ball and keeping us and getting us in the end zone and scoring points. We don't want to get in a shootout with them. And so what we want to do is control the clock, run the football, put the ball in the end zone and play good defense.
They start the year out with 5 consecutive wins, but they're coming off back-to-back losses to Timberview and then Argyle. And in those matchups, and how you describe their team as being athletic, do you feel like this is a team that poses a similar threat to what Argyle does on the perimeter?
No. They have the opportunity to throw the ball. I think their quarterback does a good job of extending plays, and so we've really kind of focused in on that this week. What they like I said, very athletic team, but, kind of find themselves in a bind from time to time, with either penalties or turnovers. And so we got to make sure that we take advantage of that. If they make a mistake, we got to make them drop the field, make them make a mistake, and get the ball back to our offense. But overall, I think we match up really well. I think, our secondary is ready for the task, and our front seven, it's kind of a defensive effort to keep the ball out of the air, get to the quarterback, pressuring throws, and then our secondary staying on top.
Your defense, great performance last week, and going up against an athletic team like you describe it, and you just broke it down. Got to get pressure on the quarterback and help out the secondary for a night like tonight. What are some other keys you think defensively that you're going to look for the Panthers?
Just everybody doing their assignments. When you play a team that, is really balanced attack, can throw the ball deep, can throw it underneath, obviously at their run game with their little back or throw a little tailback screen, basically as their perimeter run game. We got to do a good job of making sure that we cover the whole field because they'll try to take advantage of it. And that goes back to everybody doing their job, covering their area, covering their man, fitting the run fits the way they're supposed to fit them to ensure that, we kind of build a steel curtain or a steel wall to keep them out of the end zone, make them re-snap. Kind of like I said before, they're prone to make mistakes. And so I think the more times we can make them snap, we can't give up the big plays that they'll find themselves in a tough situation.
For your offense, coming off a 41-point effort, Bodie Weaver had a really good game, and your team really just took full control of that matchup. And really, Weaver was a big reason why distributing the ball from our perspective at a really, really high level. How do you think he can build momentum coming into this matchup?
Well, kind of the biggest thing that we really stressed this week is, we did get going. But if you go back to our last 2 games, we start our opening drives with the interception, and we kind of lose momentum in those games. Really and truly in the Everman game, I thought we should have been up a little bit more. We had to settle for 2 field goals, didn't get in the end zone. And so we really stressed this week, opening drive, we want to take it down and score points. And I think if we can take the ball down, open the drive and score points, I think that will relax our entire team and our offense too, that they, can get the job done and go down and put it in. And so we got to do that early, and both of those previous 2 games, we did catch fire offensively in spurts, but it was later in the game and not early in the game. And so we kind of want to try to start fast this week, and we've kind of stressed that in practice and talked about that with our kids this week is, let's get that opening drive and go put points on the board and get our team in a good state of mind.
Is that something too? I mean, when you do want to start quick and get things going early on throughout the week of practice, is it more of trying to script those opening few series, or is that just a mindset for the team overall?
It's a little bit of both. I don't know if it's early jitters or adjusting to what we're seeing, offensive line wise. But it's getting the early completions. It's getting big chunks in the run game early and just building that confidence. It's not necessarily a scheme thing. I mean, obviously we're going into a game with a tool bag of things that we think can work, and you adjust. But, it goes back to there's some basic stuff that we feel like we can do anytime, whenever. And so we want to make sure that we kind of mix those in so we can get the offense going early.
Well, looking forward to the matchup here tonight, Coach. Thursday night football. It's going to be a lot of fun as your Panthers hit the road. So best of luck tonight, and hope for another district winner for the Panthers.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Go Panthers.
That's head football coach Jerry Edwards joining us here on the pregame show. It's Panther Friday night on Tradio. I'm Will Connerly. Happy to be with you this evening as we've got a district matchup here at Wildman Field. Kickoff coming up here in Arlington at 7 o'clock. Coming up next, we're going to preview what's on the other side for Colleyville and their opponent. We'll break down the Cougars next on the pregame show. You're watching Panther Friday night on Tradio.
Compass Church is for you. Join us each week to experience great music, a message that applies to your everyday life, as well as programming for your kids and students to engage on their level. Learn more at compass.church.
Can't get enough. Hey, just can't get enough. Come on, let's go. Can't get enough. Can't get enough. Start the show. Can't get enough. Yeah. Hey, just can't get enough. Oh, 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 oh.
We're back with you on Panther Friday night on Tradio. I'm Will Connerly. Happy to be with you this evening. At Wildman Field, it's the Cougars and the Panthers getting set to kick coming up at 7 o'clock. And we will look at the opponent tonight. The Cougars, coached by Joe Gordon, they returned 32 players from their team a season ago that went 5-4, and this year 5-2, 3-2 in district play. And when we look at this group and the way that they started the year, they certainly started the year with plenty of momentum. They were able to rattle off 5 consecutive victories to start the season, and they scored a lot of points in the process. They just missed out on the playoffs 1 year ago. As close losses to Midlothian Heritage and Everman. They put them on the wrong side of a tiebreaker, but they certainly have a lot of offensive firepower. And the main player to watch tonight is their wideout. They hand the ball off to him quite a bit as well. Number 5, Malachi Mesh. Carterius Brown, also a Division I commit for this group. And for the Cougars this season, they start off scoring 50 points in the first 2 weeks. They have a common opponent with Colleyville. They played Red Oak in week 2 after Colleyville just barely got past Red Oak with a Ryan Zuckert game winner back in week 1. It was Arlington Seguin who played them in week 2, and they had a massive 50-14 victory. They scored 22 points in the second quarter and then added 21 in the third quarter en route to a big victory. And they had success to start district play as well. They topped Burleson, Grapevine, and the Colony, and those were all blowout wins when their defense came to play. They scored 30-plus in every game, but also allowed just 1 touchdown in that process. 7 points against Burleson, 3 against Grapevine, only 6 against the Colony, but they're coming off back-to-back district losses. They fell 38 24 against Timberview, a team that Colleyville shut out. And then Argyle last week, it was 36-7. In the last 5 quarters of football for Seguin, they've just scored 7 points. And last week against Argyle got the better of Arlington Seguin. Despite Arlington Seguin, they got 254 total yards. They were really hurt last week by penalties, though. 77 yards of penalties and 3 turnovers, and they ultimately fell in that game. Their quarterback, Chevy Andrews, went 10 of 22 for 167 yards, but 2 interceptions really hurt the cause there. And so that is a little bit of a look at what they've done. For Colleyville, though, they're coming off a big win from 1 week ago. Gerard Wiley has really taken the reins as the number 1 running back in this unit, getting over 6 yards a carry, has 3 touchdowns, and he has rushed for 376 yards this season. Bodie Weaver really trying to get into his own, had a big breakout game last week. He's thrown for nearly 1,200 yards, and he does have 12 touchdowns to his name, but 6 interceptions. And speaking with head coach Jerry Edwards on the pregame show, we just heard from him, and he said, hey, we won 41-7 last week, but I thought that we could have started better, and we're really focused on a strong start here this week. How can we start better, start faster? Because opening possessions the last few weeks, they've resulted in interceptions, and they're looking for a fast start and having to do it ever since that Argyle game without their top wideout and Braden Blewett, who still leads the team in all receiving categories. Nickwan Combi has stepped up, and he has a pair of touchdowns and over 300 yards on the year, and certainly a deep threat down the field along with Luke Graves and Samir Johnson, another target on the outside. So it'll be interesting to see how first-year offensive coordinator Jeremy Snyder will try to get guys involved on the offensive attack for Colleyville after their 41-7 victory in a game where they got 373 yards over the Bulldogs of Everman. They gained 18 first downs and really just controlled it because of the ground game. 181 on the ground. Bodie Weaver had 56 of those, and then Gerard Wiley, 95 yards and a touchdown. He was nearly 8 yards a pop last week, and Nickwan Combi had the big explosive plays, had a huge touchdown and 91 receiving yards in that game for Colleyville. And so we will see what this Colleyville team can do. Braden Blewett not in the works for this team, but they've responded and they've been able to score points in his absence. 42 against Argyle, but they fell 42-35, and then 41 against Everman. But head coach Jerry Edwards knows a big opportunity on the horizon tonight can pretty much secure a playoff spot if they can pull out a victory in this game. They have Summit next week and then Burleson and Grapevine, 2 teams toward the bottom of the district to finish out the season for the final 4 regular season games. And a playoff spot, something that has been synonymous with Colleyville getting to the playoffs consistently over the last few decades. They're going to try to do it again and potentially have that opportunity here this evening. Colleyville Heritage and Arlington Seguin coming up in just a moment here in Arlington. Glad you're joining us on Panther Friday night on Tradio. It'll be back at Mustang Panther next week as Colleyville hosts Mansfield Summit next Friday night. So a short week this week with their lone Thursday night game, and then back to Friday night action at Mustang Panther next week. Looking forward to this matchup this evening. Colleyville coming off a 41-7 victory. Bodie Weaver in that matchup went 13 of 25, had 3 touchdowns in the process, throwing, also added 1 on the ground, 4 total touchdowns. The most complete game that quarterback has had this year for the junior, and the first year for him as the starting quarterback for the Colleyville Heritage Panthers. And for Seguin, we mentioned the high-powered offense and really strong defense to start district play. Back up against the wall, they do control their own destiny. If they win out, they can get in the playoffs, but it'll make it extremely challenging if they fall for a 3rd consecutive time down, if they move down to 3-3 in district play. And let's look at the district right now. Argyle, they're in first place at 4-0 in district play. Mansfield Summit also 4-0, and the Jaguars and Eagles will play coming up tomorrow. Then you have the Arlington Seguin Cougars at 3-2, Colleyville at 3-1. So if the season ended today, it would be Argyle, Mansfield Summit, Seguin, and then Colleyville Heritage in the 4 playoff spots. However, Burleson and Timberview each with 2 district wins, and then Everman, the Colony, and Grapevine. Everman and the Colony each with just 1-4 marks, and Grapevine 0-4 in district play. So those are some of the matchups that we have on our hands. A lot of those coming up tomorrow night, but a huge battle between Argyle and Mansfield Summit, because if Mansfield Summit can win that game and push Argyle to 4-1 and Summit to 5-0, well, that's the opponent for Colleyville coming up next week. So that will be a good matchup to follow coming up between those 2 teams in district play. And again, that will be coming up tomorrow night, Friday night football action for this 3-5A D2 district mark. The Colleyville Heritage Panthers and the Arlington Seguin Cougars coming up in just a little bit. Alongside Hunter Paris, our executive producer and technical director this evening, I'm Will Connerly. We're going to take a quick timeout and then get ready for kickoff on the other side. It's Panther Friday night on Tradio. Moments away from kickoff here in Arlington. The Colleyville Heritage Panthers, well, they're running on out, ready for football here on a Thursday night football action here on Panther Friday night on Tradio, their lone Thursday night game of the season. And Colleyville comes out onto the field in the white uniforms tonight with the black numbers filled in. And across the way, Arlington Seguin in the black uniforms with the blue bottoms. They all run on out as well, plenty of them with pink shoes taped over here in October as well. As Colleyville and Arlington Seguin moments away from kickoff here on Panther Friday night on Tradio. As we're getting set for the action this evening, should be a fun one between two teams in the upper echelon of the district. After Colleyville got a big 41-7 victory last week, coming off the bye week, they were able to rest and recover and put together a full performance. And in the latter stages of that fourth quarter, they were able to rest some of their starters, and we'll see if they can use that rest and recovery to travel on the road and pick up a victory tonight, which would really cement themselves in positive position for playoff contention. A lot of that will be looked at tomorrow as well with the Argyle matchup against Summit, two undefeated teams in 3-5A D2. Again, Summit, the team that Colleyville will play as they return home next week. But we're live on the air in Arlington, Texas at Wildman Field. Kickoff coming up in just moments. And looking forward to this action here in 3-5A D2. We'll pause for the anthem. Well, the anthem is complete. We're ready for Thursday night football action here in Arlington, Texas, District 3-5A D2. Seguin back up against the wall after a 5-0 start. They've lost back-to-back games, and we'll see if the Colleyville defense can try to slow down the Seguin offense that does have some talented players around the perimeter. The SMU commit, somebody to watch out for tonight as well. Number 25, Carterius Brown. And then their star wideout, Malachi Mesh. Those two targets to watch alongside Chevy Andrews as well for this Seguin offense. The likely candidates for Colleyville on the offensive front, Bodie Weaver, coming off a 4 total touchdown performance. Mr. Weaver here this season, 55% completion, nearly 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns to his name just through the air alone so far this season. For Chevy Andrews, he has a high completion mark, 67%, and he's going to have this team operate on offense to start the game off first. He's over 1,500 yards with 17 touchdowns. We're ready for kickoff. Ball teed up for Ryan Zuckert. And he kicks it through the end zone, so a touchback will have the Cougars start at the 25-yard line for a 1st and 10. We'll see how Jerry Edwards and this defense can start things out. Really strong performance last week, creating turnovers to put their offense in a good position early. And they look for a lot of the same here this week. So 2 motion over. The quarterback, Chevy Andrews, under center. And Madden Williams comes in to make the stop. First play from scrimmage of the ball game. It's a carry to Malachi Mesh. Really dynamic player, leads the team with 417 rushing yards. This season, he gets 2 there. And after the pickup of 2, a second down and 8, Mesh as well, 431 receiving yards, along with north of 400 on the ground. And they have a sweep out to the edge. They get it into the hands of Jamani Smith, the junior wide receiver. And a pickup for the first down. After the gain of 8 yards, sets up a 1st and 10 from the 37-yard line. Andrews still operating under center. Play action, hit to the outside, and it's incomplete. Intended target was Carterius Brown, the senior wideout, and the SMU pledge. Going to play for the Ponies, new in the ACC, a team that is in the top 25 this year. Playing some really good football in Dallas, Texas. 2nd and 10. And the football right at the Cougars' 37-yard line for this opening drive. Motion comes again. Another play action. Hit to the outside, this time complete. Same target, Carterius Brown. And he picks up a dozen to move the chains for a first down. As the football moves up to the 48-yard line, Cougars with a nice completion to the outside. So opening minute of this ball game on a Thursday night, I formation for the Cougars, and a pitch out to the right side, some space for Mesh, and he gets across the 50-yard line. And Jamani Smith on that toe to the rock gets a decent gain, picks up about 5. Call it 4 yards, 2nd and 6 upcoming for the Cougars. So 2nd down and 6 yards to go. Football in Colleyville territory at the 48-yard line. Another pitch to the outside and a nice hole created. Eventually tackled by Jaden Hall, but not before Jamani Smith can pick up the necessary yardage for the first down. So a pair of first downs on the opening series for the Cougars. And they get the football right at the Panthers' 40-yard line. Opening drive here on Panther Friday night on Tradio. Cougars averaging 36 points per game. And moving on this first drive. Another handoff right to the right side again, and a big gash and gain. A pickup of 10 yards, and that moves the chains once more. Carterius Brown getting the chance to carry the football. So Chevy Andrews operates with a fresh set of downs. Another carry. Flag comes from the secondary as well. They give it right back off to the sophomore running back, Kadarius Trotter. Trotter on the year, 30 carries for 167 yards, just shy of 6 per carry, but a flag on the play. Number 11, Carterius Brown. He's the SMU pledge. Then you have Kadarius Trotter, the sophomore running back. Some of the weapons on this Cougars offense along with Malachi Mesh. But that flag moves the Cougars back. And the holding call makes it 1st and 20. Cougars back to the Panthers' 38-yard line. And it's a hit to the outside. Intended target was Carterius Brown. And he makes the catch as he's pushed out on this opening drive for the Cougars. Clock continues to wind. Damian Cheatham, the senior tight end, checks into the ballgame. On the near side, it's Cohen Peeler, the senior wide receiver, lined up in single coverage against Hayden West, the cornerback. And a quick hit to the outside once again, caught beyond the numbers inside the 30-yard line, wrestled down by Dax Ebeson, but another quick completion to Carterius Brown. Somebody you suspected the Cougars would want to get involved early. Big plays for him, 33 catches, 630 yards, and 10 touchdowns on the year for the senior wideout and SMU pledge, and he gets over 19 yards a catch. But a short completion there to set up a 3rd and 10. So the penalty, they pick up 10 yards for after 1st and 20 and make it 3rd down and 10. Out of the shotgun, pressure comes to the quarterback, evading the pocket and picking up and running himself is Chevy Andrews. And he is pushed out of play shy of the 20-yard line. Good pursuit after the pocket was flushed, and that sets up a 4th and 4 from the 22-yard line, and the Cougars offense stays out on the field. Cougars a lot of points early on in the year, but over their last 5 quarters, just 7. Limited last week against Argyle in their loss. They break the huddle. They plan to go for it on 4th and 4, opening drive. 4th down and a timeout is called by the Cougars. They want to think about it with the football at the 22-yard line. We'll keep it with you here on Tradio to see what the Cougars want to try to do. A 39-yard attempt is what it would be for Seguin, but a lengthy field goal, no indication that the Cougars wanted to try that, but they did have the offense out there and then called what maybe was expected, a timeout. And head coach Jerry Edwards talking to his defense, looking for a big stop on this opening series. 7:38 to go in the opening quarter. Opening drive for the Cougars, and they just burned their first timeout. Jimani Smith lined up on the near side with Cohen Peeler. And now motion comes. The quarterback, Chevy Andrews, lines up on the outside. It'll be a handoff. Evan Nayeda comes into the backfield along with Matthew Udemba, and they make the stop on 4th down. Evan Nayeda comes up first, and they stop the run on 4th down. A turnover on downs, and Colleyville will get the football back. Good opening series stand after the Cougars had a pair of first downs to move into Colleyville territory. A holding call on 1st down, and they had to back up and could not overcome the 1st and 20. Got it to 4th and 4, tried to run, and it ended up being Evan Nayeda who comes in to make the stop as Kadarius Trotter could not pick up the necessary yardage. So Colleyville out on offense, a 1st and 10 from their own 22-yard line. Bodie Weaver takes a deep shot down the field, and it's well out of the reach of the intended target down the field for Colleyville. They looked for Cash McMahon down the sideline. In coverage for Seguin, A.J. Horse, the junior safety back there in the coverage, but well out of the reach of McMahon. Colleyville taking a shot on 1st down, incomplete, 2nd and 10 upcoming from the 22-yard line. Bodie Weaver in the shotgun. Gerard Wiley to his right hip. Wendler on the far side, Luke Graves and Nick Wankambi on the near side, but a timeout taken after a shot to Cash McMahon, the junior wide receiver, on the first play for Colleyville. The Panthers take a timeout and want to talk things over. Taking deep shots down the field on the opening play from scrimmage after the defense came up with a huge stop. Evan Naeta comes up with the stop. To give Colleyville the football for the first time this evening. And a 2nd and 10. 7:25 to go in the first quarter of action. Seguin loads up the box. It's a run to the edge by Gerard Wiley. And he gets to about the 27-yard line. Pickup of almost 5 on the play to set up third down. 3rd and 5, about 7 to go in the first quarter. Two receivers split to either side. The tight end, Luke Graves, lined up in the slot. And Weaver takes a check to the Colleyville sideline. Weaver, clean pocket, takes a shot. Wankambi, it's incomplete. Good defensive play made there by Jordan Chris. And the senior cornerback in there to make the coverage. So a pair of incompletions for Colleyville on their first possession. They did have the one run to Wiley to set up a 3rd and medium, but instead an incomplete pass down the field. Ryan Zucker will come out to punt for the Panthers. 2 back deep to return for Seguin, and the ball takes a friendly roll, and it will sit down at the 35-yard line, and that's where the Cougars will take over. So neither team puts points on the board on the opening series. A 3 and out for Colleyville after they got the football back, forcing a turnover on downs. And the Cougars offense right back out on the football field. They have a 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. Chevy Andrews lined up under center once again. They give a handoff to Kadarius Trotter. He has some space. He's eventually upended by Bryson Burgess. Madden Williams both combine on the tackle there. Dax Hebeson in the area as well, but a good carry on first down to set up 2nd and short. A pickup of 7 by the sophomore running back, Kadarius Trotter. 2 receivers lined up to the near side on 2nd and short. Second possession for the Cougars, and they look down the field, quick out, and they connect again with Carterius Brown, the senior wideout. Tiptoes the sideline and picks up the first down. A short pickup for him, but it moved the chains, and it has the ball just shy of midfield at the 48 for a fresh set of downs. The Cougars gained 2 first downs on their opening series, and then a turnover on downs, went for it on 4th and 4. But Colleyville came in to make the stop, but followed it up with a 3 and out. Andrews in the gun. Pocket is flushed. Pressure comes. Hebeson chasing down Andrews. And he has a quality carry, picking up yardage with his legs. The quarterback, Chevy Andrews, a pair of junior quarterbacks in this matchup. And the junior gains 9 on first down after he had to scramble for it. It makes it 2nd and 1 with 5 minutes to go in quarter number 1. Both defenses make stands. I formation now. Trotter dotting the I. A pitch out to him, and he runs to the left side. Wrapped up from behind. Great play made by the defensive end in Demarius Logan. And the junior defensive lineman breaks through that and reads the run well to set up a 3rd and 1. So upended right at the line of scrimmage was the sophomore running back, Kadarius Trotter. Certainly 4-down territory, went for it on 4th and 4 further down the field, but 3rd and 1 here. We'll see what Chevy Andrews and this Seguin Cougars offense plans to do. They load the left side of the offensive line. Play action, look to the outside, and it's incomplete. They were looking for Damian Cheatham, the senior tight end, out of the backfield. He doesn't make the catch, and it's 4th and 1. So Colleyville looking for their 2nd consecutive turnover on downs. The Cougars going to go for it on 4th down, a yard to go. Football right around the 43-yard line. In between the 43 and 44, but a 4th and 1. They move 2 to the right side of the backfield. Handoff again to Trotter. He picks up the 1st down. He gets tackled from behind by Logan, but inside the 40 to pick up the 1 yard needed on 1st down. Kadarius Trotter, the sophomore running back, getting a bulk of the carries early in this one. Chevy Andrews, somebody who runs a decent amount, has 4 touchdowns on the ground this season, their quarterback. The Colleyville defense will now try to defend a 1st and 10 football at the 39-yard line. Chevy Andrews in the gun. Play action again. Williams gets into the backfield, and Andrews trying to scramble out of danger way, continues to stay on his feet. Dax Hebeson forces him out inside the 40-yard line. Dancing in the backfield was Chevy Andrews, and he moves his way to pick up just 2 yards, but avoided a big loss. And a 2nd and 8 upcoming with 3.5 minutes to play in this first quarter of action. Thursday night football on Panther Friday night on Tradio here in Arlington. No score in this opening quarter. 2nd series for the Cougars. A pair of teams with winning records towards the top of 3-5 AD2. A big district battle, and that's going to be a 5-yard penalty against the Cougars. All signs indicate the motion in the backfield on the running back. Trotter trying to find creative ways to get the sophomore the ball. It looks like movement early on that sequence will end up penalizing the Cougars. Actually, it wasn't the movement. It was a delay of game penalty marker. But either way, it's a 5-yard penalty. That'll move the Cougars back. They were hurt by a 10-yard penalty, a holding call that they could not overcome on their first drive. And mentioned penalized for nearly 90 yards last week. But the flag on the play backs them up 5. It's 2nd and 13 from the 42-yard line. Andrews back to pass. He wants it all down the field, and it's incomplete. Looking to take a deep shot toward the sideline. Going to their main target, Carterius Brown. But the SMU pledge, no chance to catch that ball. It's 3rd and 13. The Cougars moving the ball really on the ground and through the air with some short completions. Have some talented players on the perimeter, but now set up in 3rd and long. Once again, it was a 3rd and 10 that turned into a 4th and 4. Then they turned it over. Now 3rd and 13. Football at the 42-yard line. Andrews back to pass once again, throws it to the outside. Ball is caught, and he gets just shy of the 30-yard line. Connection right there to Deshaun Marbell, and the junior tight end with a nice pickup, gets his man across the field and picks up 13 yards for the first down. Marable with the big connection. They hit the tight end, crossing across the field, and they move inside the 30-yard line. Cougars approaching the red zone. Andrews gets the pass, screen out to Brown. Brown with movement for the touchdown of 27 yards, but a flag in the secondary. This one could be coming back. Perhaps a holding call. Well-designed play on 1st and 10 to get it out to Carterius Brown, a man they love to put the ball to outside the numbers in his hands. Now the officials converse. It was a 27-yard touchdown, but a flag came out during the play and a holding call against the Cougars. As the referee indicates, we'll back up the Cougars once more. So 2 holding calls and a delay of game, and the offense not doing the Cougars any favors for favorable down and distances. They will be set up at 1st and 20 now. They back up to about the 35-yard line. And a handoff left side, and nice tackle made. Ball is loose. It's picked up by Bryson Burgess, and he loses the football, and it goes out of play. It was jarred loose on the return back, and Colleyville comes up with the turnover, and fortunately, they keep the football as well. Fumble recovery for the Panthers. Bryson Burgess rings the bell, and the Panthers, a turnover on downs on their first defensive series, and a fumble recovery there, and the fumble on Burgess's return goes out of play. So Colleyville will maintain the possession on 1st and 20. The Cougars just wanted to pick something up on a carry, and the ball pops out for a Colleyville Heritage turnover, and they're set up in great position now. 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line. Gerard Wiley gets the carry, and he continues to move inside the 25-yard line before he is fully wrapped up and brought down by Preston Randall. The linebacker had to give Gerard Wiley a big bear hug before he picked up 5 yards. Under 2 minutes to go in this first quarter of action, 2nd and 5. Football at the 23, a big turnover for Colleyville. Low snap, Bodie Weaver gives it off to Gerard Wiley. Tries to create some misdirection, but met in the backfield. A.J. Horse comes in to make the stop as they were able to penetrate beyond the line of scrimmage. Gerard Wiley tried to make a play, but instead, no gain, and actually loses a pair of yards. So 3rd and 7 set up for Colleyville. Landon Dressel checks into the ball game, lined up out wide at receiver with Connor Supacase as well. Bodie Weaver out of the shotgun, looking down the field. He's going to take it himself, evades a defender, and eventually wrestled down. KJ Holloway, the junior defensive lineman, knocks down Bodie Weaver, but not before he picks up a first down. A gain of 7 by Bodie Weaver. Good recognition of the down and distance. And he keeps the drive going for Colleyville in this opening quarter, looking to put points on the board. Big district battle tonight. Playoff implications on the line for both teams, trying to maintain a top 4 spot in the district. 45 seconds left in the opening quarter, and Gerard Wiley met quickly in the backfield. It's Adrian Contreras, the junior defensive lineman, who comes in first. A big loss on the play of 4 yards sets up a 2nd and 14. Just 20 seconds left in this opening quarter. 4 receivers lined up for the Panthers. They take a shot toward the end zone. It's incomplete. looking for Connor Supakase on 2nd and 14 in the end zone from 22 yards out. But they can't make the connection with the wide receiver out of the reach of the junior's hands. Connor Supakase had one catch for 3 yards a week ago. So 2nd down and about 9 yards to go. They tag the Cougars with a penalty there as they move the football forward with 9 seconds left in this first quarter. We'll put Colleyville forward to be 2nd and 9 after an offsides call. Bodie Weaver, connection to Bryson Burgess, the man who had the fumble recovery, but all over it was Dion Truce. And the senior defensive lineman allows Bryson Burgess no room to move, and we've reached the end of the first quarter. Colleyville with the football in the red zone, a 3rd and 9 as we switch sides on Panther Friday night on Tradio. We'll be right back in a moment. End of one quarter, no score. We'll be back in just a moment. You're watching Panther Friday night on Tradio.
Clock is ticking. It's last call on 24s at Classic Chevrolet. As the #1 dealer in the world, a huge selection of 24s remain with model year-end savings, like new Silverados, 14 grand off MSRP. Or 0% APR is back. Time is running out to get model year-end savings before they're sold. New Silverados, 14 grand off MSRP will not last. Visit ClassicChevrolet.com now.
Panther Friday night on Tradio. Colleyville faces a 3rd and 9 in the red zone. Start of the second quarter. No score through one frame in this 3-5A D2 battle in district action. The Cougars and the Panthers meet here in Arlington tonight. And the Panthers face a 3rd and 9. They got the football on a Bryson Burgess fumble recovery. After the Cougars, their first 2 drives, they've put together two drives north of 10-plus plays, but a turnover on downs and then a lost fumble and a couple penalties that certainly hurt their cause on those drives. One, a turnover on downs, the next, a lost fumble. Those are the first 2 drives for the Cougars tonight, despite putting together drives and moving down the field. With 10-plus plays on both of those drives. Now Bodie Weaver on 3rd and 9. Has the ball, steps up in the pocket, runs it himself, has some space, gets inside the 10. He keeps moving for a touchdown. 17-yard touchdown for Bodie Weaver. And the Panthers get on the board first. Bodie Weaver making plays on 3rd and 9. And Colleyville with a 6-0 lead on the first play here in the second quarter. Landon Dressel for the point after. Graves with the hold. And the kick is through by Landon Dressel on the point after. Extra points brought to you by Unified Health Advisors Health Insurance Agency. A 17-yard rushing touchdown for Bodie Weaver, his team leading 5th rushing touchdown of the season. Great play made by the quarterback. And head coach Jerry Edwards, he said, we want and we are really focused on starting fast here on this short week. Well, they did not start fast in the respect of scoring the first time they touched the ball, but Bodie Weaver on the second series for Colleyville, they were gifted great field position after the fumble recovery from Bryson Burgess. And Bodie Weaver on 3rd and 9 from the 17 runs it in 17 yards for the score. His 5th rushing touchdown of the season. And he makes a great play for Colleyville. Ryan Zucker set to kick it off. These kickoffs for Colleyville brought to you by Texas Live. 7-0 score for the Panthers. First play in the second quarter, it's Colleyville who scores a 17-yard touchdown from Bodie Weaver. Really nice play made by the junior quarterback. His 5th score on the ground this season. Ryan Zucker to kick it off. He goes short here, and it's fair caught at the 32-yard line. That's where Seguin will set up. Their first 2 drives, they drove it down the field. They stalled out on a turnover on downs on their opening drive. And so for Colleyville wanting to start fast, at least their defense did. A 12-play drive that ended in a turnover on downs. Colleyville responded with a 3-and-out. They had to punt. And then it was another 11-play drive put together by the Cougars. It was ended by a lost fumble that Bryson Burgess picked up and returned a ways, and Colleyville was set up in short field position. They only had to go 28 yards to score. 5 plays, 28 yards, capped off by a 17-yard rushing touchdown. So third drive for the Cougars, and it starts off with a run to the left side. Flag comes. Matthew Udemba comes in to meet the running back, Kadarius Trotter, but a flag on the play as well. We'll see what it is. In the beginning stages of quarter number 2, Colleyville has struck first with a Bodie Weaver touchdown. Only needed 5 plays and 28 yards to score after the Bryson Burgess fumble recovery. And Seguin gets tagged with their 4th penalty of the night, 3rd on the offensive front. A false start will move them back to 1st and 15 as they set up at the 28-yard line. A 7-0 lead for Colleyville. 2 motion out to the left side, with the quarterback Chevy Andrews under center. And he rolls out, throws it to his man, caught by Jamani Smith. Smith in motion, then goes to the outside, and that's where the Cougars have had success tonight, making the catches outside the numbers, allowing this Colleyville defense to bend a little bit. The Cougars have put together 2 drives of 10-plus plays, but they have not broken yet. The 2 drives have resulted in turnover on downs, then a lost fumble, but a 2nd and 8 after the 1st and 15. And a good pickup to Smith. Andrews, 3-step drop to pass once again, fires it to the sideline, and it's caught by Kadarius Brown. Tackled immediately by Hayden West. Right by the lines again, sets up a 3rd down and about 1 yard to go as the football gets to the 42-yard line with 10:40 left in this second quarter. So a 3rd and 1. Cougars motion 2 out to the left side of that offensive line. High snap. They still put it into the chest of the sophomore running back, and rushing up to the 49-yard line. A 7-yard pickup for Kadarius Trotter. And the running back gets to the 48 to pick up the 1st down and keep this drive moving. Cougars been able to move the ball tonight on the ground up to the 49-yard line, that is, just 1 yard shy of midfield. And with this 12 personnel for the Cougars, 2 tight ends in the set, 2 receivers out. And Andrews, he steps up in the pocket, burst of speed up the field, scrambles for a big gain into the 30-yard line. Knocked down eventually by Jaden Hall, but a huge play made by the junior quarterback, Chevy Andrews. Saw the pressure come, read it well, and rushed right up the field for a big gain. A pickup of 20 yards on the run by Chevy Andrews, and a quick handoff once again, and a stop in the backfield. Helmet lost on the play on the rush by Kadarius Trotter, and he'll come off for a moment as the Panthers linebacker coming in to make that stop was Darian Lloyd, right at the line of scrimmage to make it 2nd and 10. Third drive for Seguin, looking to put points on the board. All their drives have looked solid. They've moved the ball down to this territory now for a third consecutive time, but looking to get points out of it now. And they hand it off here to their second-string running back, Leonte Bowman-Hunt. And he runs up to the 26-yard line or so. Pick up on the play to the tune of 2 yards to set up a 3rd down and 8 with 8.5 to go in the second quarter. Cougars in the huddle trying to dial something up on 3rd and 8. Looking to respond. The Colleyville touchdown. Bodie Weaver used his legs for the 17-yard score. Quick hit to the outside. Gets it out to Katarius Brown. And really good gain tackle there. First there to make the stop for Colleyville, Jaden Hall. And with 7:50 to go in the second quarter, makes it 4th and 8 after Seguin stopped for no gain on the Brown completion. And the Cougars appear to go for it once again. We were stopped on a turnover on downs in a similar area of the field on their first drive. And now they set up with a pretty similar spot, 4th and 5, have you. Ball at the 26-yard line. And a timeout is taken here by Colleyville. We'll take a quick break. You're watching Panther Friday Night on Tradio. Fourth down and 5 for the Cougars. 7:22 to go in the second quarter. Colleyville used their second timeout, trying to align their defense and force another turnover on downs. Andrews with the football, steps up, and it's batted down. Huge defensive play made by the Panthers, and they come up with the stop. Madden Williams, Dax Hebeson creating the pressure, and the ball batted down for Colleyville. And Williams comes up with a big play for the Panthers. 7-0, Colleyville with the lead. And they'll turn it over on downs once again. So 3 drives for the Cougars, 2 turnover on downs deep in Colleyville territory, and a lost fumble as well. So all in all, 3 turnovers, 2 via the on downs as they went for it on 4th and 8. And the pass is batted down. Handoff to Bryce Abram, and he has a big gain up to the 35-yard line. A pickup on the play of about 10 yards, and that'll move the first down marker. Bryce Abram, the senior running back, for his first carry of the night. And he moves up to the 35-yard line, picks up 10 to get the first down. So 1st and 10 from the 35, under 7 to go in this second quarter. Quick hit out to Nick Wancombe and quickly met. He's not having much room to run after the screen, and a loss on the play of 2, 2nd and 12. 2nd and 12 for Colleyville. Football at the 33-yard line. Bodie Weaver looked to hand the ball off, didn't see his man there, took it himself, and gets stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Perhaps some miscommunication in the backfield for the Panthers resulted in that play being broken up by this Seguin defense. As Colleyville looks to the sideline to see what they can dial up on 3rd and 13. Came out in this game and their first 2 passes went way down the field. Started to get some things going in the rushing attack, and they operated on their scoring drive. This is the 3rd drive for Colleyville tonight with a short field. Out of the backfield, it's Bryce Abram. Bursts to the outside, stops on a dime, tries to turn back up the field, and he gets to about the 37-yard line. A pickup of 5. He's going to set up a 4th down for Colleyville. And they'll punt the football away with about 5 left until the intermission. We're going to get it into the hands of Abram, who made some good plays out of the backfield last week in the receiving game. But Ryan Zuckert will punt on 4th and 8. As Seguin will get the football back and a chance to try to put points on the board before halftime. Mind you, they did start with the football in this game. Will get it on the defensive side to start the 3rd quarter. So Panthers looking for a stop. They do have 1 timeout if they should choose to use it, or will have it if they get the football back in this scenario. And they will start with it to start the 3rd quarter, but it's in the hands of the Cougars now for the 4th time in this first half. But through 3 drives, 2 turnovers on downs, and a turnover by a lost fumble as well. That gave Colleyville a short field. As for the Panthers offensively, Cougars way more yards offensively tonight, moving down the field on each of their 3 drives, but stalling out with a turnover on downs and then a lost fumble as they hand it off to the left side. Malachi Mesh gets maybe a yard on the play. So he tried to have some space to the outside. 2nd and 8. Give him 2 on the carry. Colleyville will start with the football in the 3rd quarter, looking for a defensive stand here. Maybe a chance for a 2-minute drill to end the 2nd quarter. Mesh in the backfield. Andrews gives it off to him. Mesh runs off tackle. He has a ton of space to the outside. Still on his feet at the 40. Cuts up the field at the 30. He approaches the 20. An explosive rush, and he loses the football for a moment right at the 12-yard line. And a huge play made for the Cougars as they will have a 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line. Malachi Mesh. Big explosive play, what he's been known for the Cougars this season. And he comes up with a big run right there from the 38 all the way down to the Panthers' 12-yard line. So a 40-yard rush and a handoff once again here to Trotter. And reading that play well, Dax Hebeson gets in on the tackle with Darian Lloyd, and the linebackers are able to get into the backfield for a loss of 1. 2nd and 11. As they move back a yard. Football right around the 14-yard line. Andrews in the gun. Cougars moving the football once again, looking far side, and it's a touchdown caught by Cohen Peeler. Huge play going over the top of the defender, Jaden Hall, and a 14-yard touchdown reception for the Cougars' senior receiver, Cohen Peeler, and a chance to tie the ball game up. Oscar Lopez, the sophomore kicker. Jamani Smith to hold it. And the Cougars aiming to tie the football game up. Kick is up and through the uprights. We're knotted at 7. Malachi Mesh runs it all the way down to the 12. A big 40-plus yard run sets up the 14-yard touchdown reception to Cohen Peeler. And we're all knotted at 7 here on Panther Friday night on Tradio. 7-7 score. Colleyville will get the football back. 2:39 to go in the second quarter. One timeout to work with. We'll be right back. So a quick 4-play, 64-yard drive highlighted by a 40-yard rush from Malachi Mesh. And a 14-yard touchdown from Cohen Peeler ties this ball game up. Good return from Bryson Burgess, carried a few Cougars with him all the way up to the 38-yard line. And with about 2.5 left in this second quarter, Colleyville with the football, one timeout. And 2:33 to go in the second quarter. They will get the football to start the third as well, so maybe they can add points on the tail end of the first half and start the second half with the football as well. We'll see what Bodie Weaver and company can do. It was a 3-and-out for Colleyville on their first drive, scored a touchdown on their second drive, had to punt as well last time, now have it for a fourth occasion. And a handoff to Gerard Wiley, and he's wrapped up by the linebacker, A.J. Horse. And the junior stops Gerard Wiley right in his tracks at the line of scrimmage for a 2nd and 10 now. Approaching just 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. Football right at the 39-yard line. Wankambi comes in motion, bad snap. Bodie Weaver just has to hop on it. No, Gerard Wiley hopped on it. Either way, a Panther, for their sake, luckily got on the football after the snap went awry. And a timeout taken by Seguin with 1:51 to go in this second quarter. They wisely take it because at 3rd and 10, Colleyville likely to throw the football. If an incompletion happens, they'll get the football back, and Seguin will have a chance to put points on the board. But what can the Panthers dial up on 3rd and 10? Likely the conversation now for the Cougars. All about getting the stop, getting the football back, as both teams vying for an opportunity to go into the locker room with the lead, tied at 7 in this big district battle this evening in Arlington, Texas. You have the Cougars 5-2. They're 3-2 in district play. Meanwhile, the Panthers looking to move to 4-1. They sit at 3-1 right now in 3-5A D2 action. A pair of teams ahead of them in Mansfield Summit and Arlington, and Argyle, rather. They're both 4-0 in district play, and they'll play in a primetime district battle coming up tomorrow night. But 3rd and long now for Colleyville. 12 yards to gain on this 3rd down. 1:55 to go in the second quarter. They've got trips out to the far side. Samir Johnson, the receiver on the near side. Bodie Weaver looking down the field. Tries to motion for some traffic, but instead he gets stopped up in the backfield. Their first is LaCorian Hodge, the senior linebacker, and he knocks Bodie Weaver down. Weaver loses the helmet. He'll come off the field with 1:42 to go in this second quarter. And a timeout taken as well, so the Cougars are going to have a chance to get the football back with plenty of time to score, especially after they were able to showcase, and they really have throughout this first half, they can move the ball and they can move it rather quickly. Their first 4 drives, just one of them resulting in a score with a pair of turnover on downs and a lost fumble, and all of those drives really stunted by penalties on their own doing. However, they end up having a 4-play, 64-yard drive last time they touched it, and a nice touchdown pass by Chevy Andrews to Cohen Peeler from 14 yards out. They converted the extra point, tied the football game up. But Seguin burning their final timeout to preserve 142 ticks on the clock here in the first half of action, forcing Colleyville to punt on a 4th and 12. Alongside our executive producer and technical director tonight, Hunter Paris, and associate producer Carly Isbell in the booth with us this evening. Here in Arlington, Texas, I'm Will Connerly. Happy you're joining us on Panther Friday night on Tradio. Shaping up to be a good football game that we have on our hands. Tail end of the first half, tied at 7. And Colleyville will have Ryan Zuckert out to punt, looking to flip the field here on 4th down. 20 yards to go on 4th down after Bodie Weaver was sacked. And it's downed by Burgess at the 37-yard line. So 94 seconds remain in the second quarter, and it gives the Cougars a big opportunity here. 1 timeout left on the board. That's Colleyville who has it. Seguin burned their 2nd and 3rd timeouts on that last defensive stand, so they could have this chance with time on the clock at the tail end of this first half, and now you have it. Colleyville loads up the defensive line. You see number 89, Isaac Omar. He was called up last week to the varsity squad. And the freshman lined up number 89 right next to Evan Nayeta. Really impressed the coaching staff to get that call, and they're hoping he can create some pressure here. It'll be a carry. Mesh with another big run across the 50-yard line, stays on his feet and gets pushed out of bounds. Touchdown is saved, but a huge run again by Malachi Mesh. And the senior makes a lot of plays in the receiving game, but a huge rushes tonight as well. And a big run to set Seguin up with plenty of time, just shy of the red zone now. 2 big runs on back-to-back drives, and they give it off to Mesh once again. Tries to cut against the grain, and he's stopped up. Bryson Burgess there as well, along with number 4 for Colleyville. Do not have him on our roster, but he comes in to make the stop as well. 2nd down and 8 yards to go, a minute to go in this second quarter. Cougars trying to punch it in before halftime. Panthers looking for another stand. 2 receivers split to either side. Chevy Andrews in the shotgun. It's Trotter now in the backfield. 3-step drop, and now a step up in the pocket, looking to run it. Running to the outside, Lloyd trying to chase Andrews, and Andrews, big run right there. And he gets pushed out of bounds as he tried to tiptoe the sideline for Seguin. He got out of bounds right at the goal line, and it will set up a 1st and goal to go scenario. No timeouts for the Cougars, but they get all the way down to the 2-yard line. And the clock stops after he gets out of bounds there. Dotting the I is Trotter. Under center is the quarterback. Andrews, pitch out to the left side, rush forward and touchdown. Kadarius Trotter scores, and the Cougars punch it in from 2 yards out with 32 seconds left in the second quarter. So 2 touchdowns by the Cougars on their last 2 drives of the first half, and they look to take a 7-point lead pending the extra point from Oscar Lopez. After the 2-yard rushing touchdown from Kadarius Trotter. Kick is up, and it's through. A 14-7 lead for the Cougars after the extra point is converted. But it looks like a penalty marker came down on the play. It did. You see the yellow laundry right at the 5-yard line. And so Seguin will have to re-kick. They get tagged with a penalty. And so it'll force Oscar Lopez, who just converted the extra point, to make it a 7-point game, to try it again from further out this time. And so we'll make it a more difficult extra point attempt from about 30 yards out on the try. Jamani Smith to hold, Lopez to kick. Could end up being a crucial one after the penalty backing up the extra point try. It was a 2-yard score by the sophomore running back Trotter. Extra point is up, and it is through as well. So same result puts Seguin up 14-7. 32 seconds left for Colleyville. They do have one timeout. We'll see if they try to do anything with it when we come back. You're watching Panther Friday Night on Tradio.
Do you have a dream of having a pool and a backyard oasis? Well, it's time to talk to the professionals at J. Caldwell Custom Pools. From new construction to remodeling to service and maintenance, J. Caldwell Custom Pools is your custom pool builder and outdoor living design expert, serving you with 2 locations, Hudson Oaks and Fort Worth. Because life is too short for ordinary backyards. Dive in and find out more at jcaldwellcustompools.com.
Panther Friday Night on Tradio. The Cougars lead a beautiful Thursday night for football in Arlington. Glad you've taken some time to join us here tonight on Tradio. 14-7 lead for the Cougars as Colleyville surrenders a 4-play, 63-yard drive, capped off by a 2-yard rushing score from Kadarius Trotter. The sophomore running back was able to punch it in really the last 2 drives for the Cougars that resulted in scores after their first 3 drives. A pair of turnover on downs and a lost fumble. Their last 2 of this first half, they've had success, and they've gotten down in a great position from Malachi Mesh. A couple explosive runs to set up the Cougars in the red zone both times, and the Cougars convert. And they score back-to-back touchdowns after Bodie Weaver put Colleyville ahead 7-0 on a 17-yard rushing touchdown. The Cougars have responded with back-to-back touchdown drives, really spearheaded by Malachi Mesh. Colleyville struggling to get him down. He has a couple huge runs tonight to put the Cougars in position to score. As a 14-yard touchdown pass to Cohen Peeler. And then Kadarius Trotter just scored a 2-yard rushing touchdown. Both were just 4-play, about 60-yard drives that now has put Seguin up 14-7 with back-to-back unanswered touchdowns. We'll see if Colleyville can try to answer here. Bryce Abram on the carry. Tries to run to the boundary. He gets tackled, and maybe Colleyville just going to settle right now after the handoff. One timeout in the pocket, though, to maybe just call this a half with just 10 seconds left in this second quarter, facing a 7-point deficit, knowing that they're going to get the football to start the second half of action. It appears that's what they're going to do right here. So we've reached halftime here in Arlington. 14-7, the Cougars have the lead. Halftime. We'll take a timeout. We'll get ready for the second half coming up in just a little bit. 14-7, Seguin has the lead. Back-to-back touchdown drives to end the first half, and they lead by a score as we've reached intermission. It's Panther Friday night on Tradio.
The clock is ticking. It's last call on 24s at Classic Chevrolet. As the #1 dealer in the world, a huge selection of 24s remain with model year-end savings, like new Silverados, $14,000 off MSRP. Or 0% APR is back. Time is running out to get model year-end savings before they're sold. New Silverados, $14,000 off MSRP will not last. Visit ClassicChevrolet.com now.
Compass Church is for you. Join us each week to experience great music, a message that applies to your everyday life, as well as programming for your kids and students to engage on their level. Learn more at compass.church.
Do you have a dream of having a pool and a backyard oasis? Well, it's time to talk to the professionals at J. Caldwell Custom Pools. From new construction to remodeling to service and maintenance, J. Caldwell Custom Pools is your custom pool builder and outdoor living design expert, serving you with 2 locations, Hudson Oaks and Fort Worth, because life is too short for ordinary backyards. Dive in and find out more at jcaldwellcustompools.com.
I want to follow. Mom wants to come too. She wants to piggyback. She's like, do you need help today? I can help. I'll be a helping hand. Oh, I bet he did. Yeah, tell me more.
Back with you on Panther Friday night on Tradio. Alongside Hunter Paris and Carly Isbell, I'm Will Connerly. Happy to be with you tonight. 14-7 the score as we're ready for the start of the third quarter. Colleyville to start with the football. Bodie Weaver went 3 of 5 in the first half of action. Was sacked once. And one short completion to Bryce Abram. A lot of movement on the ground, and Bodie Weaver had that lone touchdown for the Panthers. And here is the return. It's a lengthy one at that. And a huge return for Colleyville to start the third quarter. Number 4 for the Panthers, making things happen into Cougars territory. Penalty marker down on the play as well. Big return for Colleyville. We'll see if it adds to it or maybe brings Colleyville back as they sort out the flag. As we're back to action here in the second half, Colleyville will try to erase a 7-point deficit. Bodie Weaver, 27 yards on the ground, had that big 17-yard touchdown. And it's a face mask against Seguin on the return, so tack 15 yards onto the return. Seguin struggled in the first half in the penalty department. They were penalized 5 times for 30 yards, 6 times now for 45 yards, after they were penalized nearly 90 yards last week. So Colleyville set up in great field position, and they look to Luke Graves. It's incomplete on the 1st and 10 from the 33-yard line. 2nd and 10 upcoming for the Panthers. So they look toward Graves. First time he's been targeted tonight. And it falls through. Wendler coming in motion. It's a handoff in between the tackles. They give it off to Gerard Wiley inside the 30-yard line. Not much gain there. Just a 3-yard gain sets up a 3rd and 7. Opening series for Colleyville here in the second half. Took a 7-0 lead, but back-to-back touchdowns to end the first half for the Cougars, and they're up by a score. Weaver, quick throw out to McMahon. And he gets pushed out of play on the completion. And that makes it, after the Cash McMahon completion, a 4th down, and the offense will stay out there. Just a yard to go. 4th down and 1. Football at the 24-yard line, opening minute of this third quarter. Handoff on 4th and 1. Space. Gerard Wiley to the 10-yard line. Pushed up to the 5. A big run for Gerard Wiley. And on 4th and 1, just needing a yard from the 24-yard line, he has a huge run to set up Colleyville at 1st and goal from the 6. 18-yard gain for Gerard Wiley. Weaver in the gun, Hebeson to his right. Handoff to Dax Hebeson, and he picks up a couple yards. Inside the 5, the Panthers go. On their first possession of the second half, a big return coupled with a face mask sets them up in Cougar territory. They've not had success tonight when they've had to drive the length of the field. However, in this situation, a great return with a face mask set him up. And now at the 5, Gerard Wiley in the end zone. A 3-yard score for the Panthers, and an extra point away from tying this ball game on up. Gerard Wiley, the sophomore running back, puts a score on the board. Ryan Zuckert for the extra point. Kick is down, it is up, and it is whistles being called as the officials come to converse as they await the call. No signal if it was good or not. Flag down on the play. It appears to be against Seguin, and Colleyville just going to take the penalty and assess it on the kick. So the extra point is good, and the penalty for a legal substitution against Seguin ties the ball game, though, with the extra point converted. Extra points brought to you by Unified Health Advisors Health Insurance Agency. And ready for our kickoff, brought to you by Texas Live, coming up in just a moment. Colleyville coming off a 41-7 victory last week. They're knotted at 14 now this week, third quarter of action against Seguin, who they kind of have their backs up against the wall, needing to win all 3 for sure to control their own destiny and secure a playoff spot. It gets really difficult if they drop, though, a ball game tonight and move to 3-3. Colleyville at 3-1 right now, coming off their bye week. But a score from point blank from Gerard Wiley nods the ball game up. 4th rushing touchdown for Wiley. And Zuckert with the boot. And it will be a touchback. Jimani Smith not wanting to take it out. And Seguin will start at the 25-yard line. They picked up some momentum with 2 touchdown drives to end the first half and take a 7-point lead into the locker room, but a good response by Colleyville, got a solid return, and finished off the drive with a pair of Gerard Wiley runs to score. Colleyville to re-kick this one now. And they're moving back, being penalized on the kickoff. Perhaps left early. And so now it'll afford the Cougars a chance to have good field position. As Zuckert set to kick it off from the 35-yard line. So ball teed up. Ryan Zuckert boots it deep, caught at the 10-yard line. And rushing to the outside is Jamani Smith, and he gets to the 35. Eventually forced out by Trevi Prysha, receiver for the Panthers. With 9:48 to go in the third, tie ball game. Good one on our hands here in Arlington. Chevy Andrews under center. Brings a man in motion. Handoff up the middle, and Hebeson comes in to make the tackle. Good solo stop to wrap up Malachi Mesh, who had a huge first half with 94 yards on the ground. Popped one off for 51 and set up the Cougars on both of their touchdown drives. To end the first half of action. But to start the second half, Colleyville knotted up the ball game. Mesh goes in motion. 4 carries for 94 yards in that first. He goes in motion, and they actually give it off to the sophomore. And he's stopped up for no gain. That's Kadarius Trotter, who had a touchdown earlier in the ball game, but a good gain tackle there by the Panthers. And they don't allow much on the first 2 carries of this series to open up the second half. Bryson Burgess stand out in the secondary for Colleyville. Had the big fumble recovery in the first half to set up Colleyville's first score. A Bodie Weaver 17-yard rushing touchdown. Andrews back to throw. Looks to evade the pocket. Pressure came, and he got rid of it. Throws it to the Panthers sideline. Incomplete, and that'll be a 4th and 9. And Seguin likely to bring out the special teams unit for a punt. Colleyville to get the football back. They stopped the run on 1st and 2nd down. Something that they struggled to do on 1st and 2nd down, especially really all the drives in the first half for the Cougars. They moved the football down the field. The first 3, though, a couple turnover on downs and a lost fumble. The last 2 in their 5 drives in the first half. They had good runs to get down there. Malachi Mesh did that work. And they scored on both occasions to take a 14-7 lead into the locker room. But first time they touched the ball here in the second half, it's a punt and a fair catch at the 32-yard line by Bryson Burgess. And that's where Colleyville will start with the football. So a chance for the Panthers to take the lead. The offense goes right back out there. But the 2 drives for Colleyville that they've had points, they've started on the plus side of the 50-yard line, but granted good field position, and That's what this game's going to come down to, the field position battle. Here tonight, they start at their own 31-yard line, a 1st and 10, 8:15 to go in the third. Bodie Weaver hand off to Gerard Wiley. Huge space, runs into his own man, Samir Johnson, but still picks up a good gain up to the 42-yard line. A pickup of 11 and a first down for Colleyville. Number 11 picks up 11. He had a huge hole. And if it wasn't for running into Johnson, he could have had more. Colleyville with a big 6-play, 33-yard drive to tie the game on their opening drive of the second half. They go right back to Gerard Wiley, and he gets gobbled up in the middle, just a pickup of a yard. 2nd and 9 awaits. Here in this tied ball game in a big district battle here in Arlington. Another go to Gerard Wiley, and he gets up to the 45. They are feeding the sophomore running back, looking to break one off, as he did last drive for a nearly 20 to set up Colleyville at 1st and goal. That carry just 2 more yards. It's 3rd and 7. Approaching midfield are the Panthers. A slow, methodical pace, but now it's 3rd and 7. Weaver brings Juan Combi in motion. He drops back, eyes down the field, lofts it down the sideline, and a hook up there to this junior wideout, Cash McMahon, and a big catch to move on the drive. Number 16, Cash McMahon. Huge catch for the junior wideout. And Colleyville moves into Cougar territory. 6.5 on the clock in the third, and a big conversion on 3rd down. Wendler goes in motion. Running between the tackles. Gerard Wiley breaks one off in a big gaping hole. Gerard Wiley using it. And the sophomore running. He's down right now, though. A bad sign to see for Colleyville as he gets tended to immediately by the training staff. Hope that he is okay, because he has been the bell cow running back tonight. We're going to take a quick timeout. Gerard Wiley, the sophomore, with a big gain on the play, but down right now. We'll be right back.
The clock is ticking. It's last call on 24s at Classic Chevrolet. As the #1 dealer in the world, a huge selection of 24s remain with model year-end savings, like new Silverados, $14,000 off MSRP. Or 0% APR is back. Time is running out to get model year-end savings before they're sold. New Silverados, $14,000 off MSRP will not last. Visit ClassicChevrolet.com now.
First and 10 for Colleyville. They give it off to Bryce Abraham after Gerard Wiley came off. He was shaken up on that last run that put Colleyville in a position for the first down. A pickup of 2 for Abraham, as he's now the running back as Wiley gets tended to on the sideline. 2nd and 8 for Colleyville. Tie ball game in the third. Weaver back to pass. Fires toward the sideline, caught by Johnson. And Samir Johnson pushed out of bounds inside the 20-yard line, up to the 19. Samir Johnson, some sophomores making some plays on this drive here for Colleyville. Just there in the red zone, looking to take the lead. 1st and 10. That picked up a first. Give left side off to Bryce Abraham on 1st down, and he's in. Bryce Abram for the touchdown. A 19-yard rush and a score, and Colleyville back on top, 20-14. A 19-yard rushing touchdown for Bryce Abram, his third rushing TD of the season, and Colleyville takes the lead as they score on their first 2 drives of the second half. Extra point brought to you by Unified Health Advisors Health Insurance Agency. It's converted by Landon Dressel. 21-14, Colleyville erases a 7-point halftime deficit. They score on their first 2 drives of the second half, and their running backs doing the damage on the ground. It was Gerard Wiley till he came out. Bryce Abram then got involved in the attack and finished off the drive with a 19-yard rushing touchdown. So Colleyville erases the halftime deficit after trailing by 7, and they scored 2 touchdowns to open up the second half, leading 21-14, 5:37 on the clock in the third quarter. Our Texas Live kickoff from the 40-yard line. Ryan Zuckert has the ball teed up. 3 rushing touchdowns tonight for Colleyville. Started in the first half with the quarterback in Bodie Weaver. Then Gerard Wiley. Most recently, Bryce Abram with a nice 19-yard score. They bring this kickoff out, and Landon Dressel on the kick coverage wraps up the return around the 21-yard line. On the Malachi Mesh return, somebody Colleyville hopes to contain after he nearly had 25 yards a pop, 4 for over 90 yards in the first half on the ground. They were able to stop him, though, on Arlington Seguin's first series in the second half. And it puts Colleyville ahead by 7. Back-to-back rushing touchdowns to open up the second half. Jerry Edwards' squad has come out strong here in the third quarter. Chevy Andrews is the quarterback. Lined up in the shotgun, 1st and 10 for the Cougars from their 23-yard line. And a penalty marker comes. Carterius Brown, movement on the perimeter before the snap came. And a clear marker comes from the official on the near side. That has been tough for the Cougars. During this game tonight, they've been hurt by penalties, and they're going to be set up in tough down and distance situation once again, 1st and 15. Team that moves a lot of guys pre-snap, especially around the line of scrimmage. Another motion. And a quick hit out to the wideout. West reads the screen well, and it's a connection to Carterius Brown, but a really good stop right there and no gain on the play. Huge stop made by Hayden West. He reads the screen as they try to get it into the hands of their star senior wideout, the SMU commit, but the bubble screens to the outside for the wideout. Read well with good coverage by West. He avoids the tackle. And after the penalty marker on 1st and 15, Colleyville now being told to get back on their sideline, perhaps being warned right there. But no gain on the play makes it 2nd down and 15 to go with about 5 left in the third quarter. 4 on the front for Colleyville. I formation, play action, deep shot down the field. They want the home run. It's incomplete. Carterius Brown had plenty of turf in front of him as he blew past Hayden West, but can't make the deep connection on the play action. And he drops what would have been the biggest play through the air today for the Cougars. Colleyville gets burned in the secondary, but they don't have to pay the price, as Carterius Brown does not haul in the home run shot down the sideline. 3rd down, 14 yards to go. Ball at the 19. Cougars back to pass. It's Andrews trying to get away from the pressure, throws it down the field. Incomplete. Intended target was Darius Trotter around the 35-yard line, but it is incomplete, and it sets up a 4th down. And the Cougars going to have to settle for a punt. There is a penalty marker on the play. It is against Seguin. Evan Ayeta bringing the pressure on that play to force Andrews out of the pocket. Colleyville going to decline the penalty and force the punt at 4th and 14 for Seguin from their own 20-yard line, 19-yard line that is. But inside their own 20, and a 4th and long, forced to punt. Give the Panthers the ball back. Colleyville with a 7-point lead. The punt is off. And it touches down around the 45, trickles all the way to the 34. Takes a friendly roll, and Colleyville will set up their offense. With a 7-point advantage. Bryce Abram, the running back, who goes out there with Bodie Weaver. Still no Gerard Wiley. If you're just joining us on that last possession for Colleyville, he had a couple nice runs, but on the end of a 10-yard run, he came out of the ball game. And it was Abram who took over in the backfield, and he was the one who scored a 19-yard touchdown to give Colleyville the lead. Handoff here to Abram, read really well by the Seguin defense. And coming in first to penetrate through the line was Adrian Contreras. And it stops Abram up. Maybe a gain of a yard on forward progress, but 2nd and 9 facing the Panthers here from just shy of the 35-yard line. As the clock continues to tick, Colleyville's really committed to the run, and you figured that would continue to be the case with a 7-point advantage here in the second half. They go back to the ground. It's Abram cutting up the field, puts his head down at the 41-yard line, and he picks up a good carry. The senior running back with more responsibility with Gerard Wiley currently out of the ball game. And a good carry on 3rd down to set up a 3rd and short. 3 yards to go for Colleyville. Football at the 42. Nose of it just shy of that 42-yard mark. Seguin trying to get off the football field. Looking for a stop on 3rd down and a timeout call. Play clock was winding down. And the Panthers will burn their first timeout here in the second half. We'll take it with them. Panther Friday night on Tradio. We'll be right back.
All right, Buster, come on. You got this. Fix that hair on the right. Just give me hands. Give me the vicious kitty. Perfect. Hey. Hey, you. 40-yard line. Big guy. No, the other guy. I've seen your LinkedIn picture. It's not great. Bless your heart. You need a new headshot. And since you're not watching the game, watch this.
Unleash your professional image with Metroplex headshots. From individual headshots to executive team portraits, we deliver exceptional quality. Metroplex headshots combines artistry and expertise to create headshots that make an impact. Visit our website at metroplexheadshots.com or call us today to schedule your session. Metroplex Headshots. Unleash your professional image.
We're back with you on Panther Friday night on Tradio. Thursday night football action here. 3rd and 3, shot down the field. It's incomplete, but a flag flies. Looking for Nick Wankambi down the field. Jordan Chris was in the coverage, and he may get tagged for a pass interference against the defense. Another tough penalty if you're a Cougar fan. They've been flagged tonight quite a bit, and Colleyville has definitely taken advantage of it. A 3rd and 3, a shot down the field to Nick Wankambi in single coverage. And the flag flies as Chris met Wankambi too early, and a PI will move Colleyville into Cougar territory. And the penalties have played a huge factor tonight, as Colleyville has really benefited in moving the football quite a bit on penalties. And a first down carry to Bryce Abraham. He has plenty of space, unwilling to go down, moves inside the 30-yard line. A pickup of 14 yards, and Bryce Abraham doing a fine job at running back in the absence of Gerard Wiley, who went down last possession. And Bryce Abraham with a great carry there to get inside the 30-yard line. 1st and 10 from the 27 for Colleyville. Time winding down in quarter number 3. Snap on 1st and 10. It goes back to Bryce Abraham. And getting the work up front tonight is the big boys for Colleyville. They have really committed to running the football, sealing the edge up on the right side quite a bit this evening. Wes Dalio-Cubic, and he creates a hole for a gain of 4. As Colleyville keeps it on the ground, 2nd and 6 from the 23. Under 2 minutes to go in the 3rd. Colleyville approaching the red zone. Abraham avoids a tackle in the backfield, breaks one there as well, and gets inside the 20-yard line, a pickup of about 3 yards. We'll make it 3rd and 3. The drive continued on a 3rd and 3 when Bodie Weaver took a shot to Nick Wankambi and a pass interference call. A big 15-yard penalty once again, this time a face mask. The second against Seguin in this second half. As Colleyville's opening return in the second half, they got 15 extra yards on a face mask and converted on a score from Gerard Wiley. Bryce Abraham then capped off an 8-play, 68-yard drive from a 19-yard touchdown, and they move forward once again on the face mask. As Seguin is just gifting Colleyville great field position. They're now in goal-to-go situation at the 10-yard line. Right inside the 10, Colleyville with the football. 1st and goal to go, just inside the 10. Looking to take a 2-score lead. Bodie Weaver throws it to the end zone. Luke Graves was wide open, but he fell down in the end zone. Incomplete pass. Weaver with the right idea, trying to loft it over the top of the defense, but his target in Luke Graves fell down. And 2nd and goal from just inside the 10 awaits. Weaver in the gun. Gerard Wiley back in the mix, and he gets the carry. And misdirection in the backfield. He's stopped up for a loss of about 5 on the play. A.J. Horse getting the credit for that tackle for loss. In Colleyville, 3rd and goal from about the 14-yard line. Certainly in field goal range, with a good chance to take a 2-score lead, but they'll see if they can't get it in for 6 here. Weaver, time, space, shot, end zone. It's incomplete. He wanted Samir Johnson, But tight coverage on the play there from the Cougars in the secondary was Cariel Brown, the defensive back, and the sophomore makes good coverage on the sophomore wideout to set up a fourth down and a field goal try for Ryan Zucker. A 31-yard try. Colleyville looking to take a 2-score lead, and the kick is perfect through the uprights for Ryan Zucker from 31 yards out. 24-14, Colleyville takes a 10-point lead. That field goal is brought to you by Unified Health Advisors Health Insurance Agency. Colleyville up 10. We'll take a timeout. You're watching Panther Friday Night on Tradio.
Compass Church is for you. Join us each week to experience great music, a message that applies to your everyday life, as well as programming for your kids and students to engage on their level. Learn more at compass.church.
Can't get enough. Hey, just can't get enough. Come on, let's go. Can't get enough. Start the show. Can't get enough. Yeah. Hey, just can't get enough. Oh, 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 oh.
A 31-yard field goal for Colleyville. They go up by 10. 3 consecutive scoring drives for the Panthers in the second half. 2 touchdowns and then a field goal. And from down 7 at halftime to now up by 10 with 47 seconds left in the third. And the Texas Live kickoff. Fair caught. Touchback. Colleyville's defense back out on the field. Cougars really helping Colleyville out with so many penalties here tonight. And then this 3-5A D2 battle. It's really been the last 2 weeks the story for the Cougars. Have the talent offensively to move it down the field, but offense has been hurt by penalties, and then their defense as well has granted Colleyville in some favorable situations. They've been penalized a ton tonight, and Colleyville finishes off a 7-play drive with a field goal to go up by 10. Quick pass out to Deshaun Marble. Marble with the connection. Gets out of bounds with 40 seconds left in the third. Pickup of 6. So 2nd and 4 for the Cougars. The junior Andrews under center once more. High formation. Logan comes with the pressure, and now Andrews throws it to the sideline. It's caught, hauled in by Cohen Peeler, and they say it is hauled in right at the 49-yard line for a nice completion. Andrews had to freelance a little bit after the pocket was flushed. He moved out to his right and hooked up on the sideline with Peeler. Peeler earlier in the ballgame caught a touchdown and helped the cause for Seguin for their first score in the first half. And now Andrews rushing up the field. Penalty marker comes. He's tackled by the ankles from Madden Williams at the 40, but a flag flies once again. That has been the story tonight for the Cougars. It looks like it is against Seguin. Perhaps a hold. And it is a holding call against the Cougars. They'll back up once again. And that is one thing that you know is going to drive Coach Joe Gordon crazy for the Cougars. They've set up good positions. They've connected on some really nice throws to the sideline, even with pressure coming, but it's been hard for them to overcome all the penalties and facing another 1st and 20 against a pretty strong Colleyville defense. Low snap, Andrews throws it near side. Quick tackle made in open space. Mesh made the catch. Lloyd made the tackle. And no gain on the play, a loss of a yard on the connection to Malachi Mesh. Darian Lloyd with great closing speed to come in and make the stop. We're through 3 quarters of action. Colleyville leading 24-14. 4th quarter coming up next. Panther Friday night on Tradio.
The clock is ticking. It's last call on 24s at Classic Chevrolet. As the #1 dealer in the world, a huge selection of 24s remain with model year-end savings, like new Silverados, $14,000 off MSRP. Or 0% APR is back. Time is running out to get model year-end savings before they're sold. New Silverados, $14,000 off MSRP will not last. Visit ClassicChevrolet.com now.
Do you have a dream of having a pool and a backyard oasis? Well, it's time to talk to the professionals at J. Caldwell Custom Pools. From new construction to remodeling to service and maintenance, J. Caldwell Custom Pools is your custom pool builder and outdoor living design expert, serving you with 2 locations, Hudson Oaks and Fort Worth, because life is too short for ordinary backyards. Dive in and find out more at jcaldwellcustompools.com.
Teams flip sides. Start of the 4th. Colleyville leading by 10. 2nd and 21. Cougars quick pass out to Carterius Brown, and good tackle made by Madden Williams, reading the screen well. That'll set up a 3rd and long, still behind the sticks. Are the Cougars 3rd and 16 after the screen. To Carterius Brown. 3rd and long. Andrew steps up in the pocket, and he is put down by Evan Nayetta. On the run by Andrews. Good play made by the defensive lineman. It's up to the 45, but still going to make it a 4th and long. About 14 yards to go. 13 yards, that is, on 4th down, and that'll force a Cougars punt. Punt is off, and a short punt at that, down to around the 40-yard line by Seguin's Micah Bolden. And so Colleyville's offense goes back out on the field, leading by 10 with the ball in the 4th quarter. So Colleyville back on the field, 1st and 10 from their own 39-yard line. It's Abram in the backfield. Weaver wants it all down the field, and he's got it. Nick Wankambi to the 25-yard line. And Colleyville finally connects on a deep shot down the field. Nick Wankambi with a huge catch in single coverage, and Bodie Weaver put it right on the money. First and 10 for the Panthers from the 25. Looking for their fourth consecutive score here in the second half. Bryce Abram evades the initial tackle, and then he's wrapped up by Corian Hodge, the senior linebacker, who got to Abram after gaining a yard on the play to make it 2nd and 9. Under 10 minutes to go in the fourth. Is Colleyville in position to add on to what is a 10-point lead right now? Weaver, clean pocket, throws it to the outside, tapped at the line of scrimmage. He was looking for Bryce Abram, but it is affected up front, and an incomplete pass makes it 3rd and 9. Cougars desperate for a stop right now. Weaver, he gets hit hard in the backfield. Sack made by Jaden Domino. And the linebacker comes in to meet Bodie Weaver. And that'll push Colleyville back to the 31-yard line. Makes it a 4th and 9. And instead of a near 50-yard, would be about a 48-yard try from this distance. Colleyville's offense stays on the field for the moment. Fourth and 16. Not sure how many plays you have dialed up for that. Up by 10 with 8.5 to go. And maybe they'll take a timeout. They will, to try to talk about what they want to do here. Would be about a 48-yard try. Zuckert has made it from 45 plus this season one time. Had a career long of 46 this season. But instead, it looks like Zuckert will go out to punt. The Panthers trying to pin the Cougars deep with 8:26 to go in this fourth quarter on 4th and long. Colleyville took the delay of game, pushes them back 5. More room for the punt. And Zuckert's punt goes into the end zone. Not what Colleyville wanted, a touchback, which will set up the Cougars at the 25-yard line with 8:07 left in the fourth quarter. So 1st and 10 for the Cougars, trying to answer down by 10. Needing the answer quick with 8:07 to go in the fourth quarter. Snap comes. Nayeda brings the pressure. Andrews going to run it himself, still being chased down, and eventually chased out of bounds. Burgess came in to close, but a big run and scramble for the quarterback, Chevy Andrews, on the first play. A 16-yard run to set up 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line. Andrews to pass, fires over the middle, it's incomplete. In and out of the hands of Giovanni Smith, right over the middle. It was put on the money by Chevy Andrews, but just a drop pass down the field, or it would have been another chunk play. And a flag flies as the snap comes in. And a false start against Seguin will back him up for a 1st and 15. Check that, 2nd and 15 after the incompletion from the 37-yard line. Andrews has to get rid of it after the pressure comes from Logan, and it's incomplete. Intended target was Malachi Mesh. And that makes it 3rd and 15, 7:45 on the clock here in the 4th. And 3rd and long facing the Cougars. Snap comes on 3rd and long. And they look to the outside. Cannot get it to Kadarius Trotter. Or check that, Leonte Bowman Hunt, the senior running back, the intended target there. And that makes it 4th and 15. So a punt on 4th and long. Snap dropped for a moment, and punt still gets off. And it rolls inside the 25-yard line despite the initial dropping of the punt. But Colleyville getting the football back. 7:28 to go in the 4th quarter. And the Panthers will take over with the football up by 10. And they'll try to take more time off the clock, leading with a chance to go 4-1 in district action and really cement themselves a playoff spot if they can hold on to a victory in this 3-5A D2 battle here in Arlington. District action at Wildman Field. Weaver, quick completion out to Abram, met in the backfield by Hodge, and LaCorian Hodge makes the tackle for loss to back the Panthers up, but a completion keeps the clock moving. Really strong second half for Colleyville. Scored 2 touchdowns to erase what was a 7-point halftime deficit. Then they add a field goal on their 3rd drive. And here's a huge run from Bryce Abram up to the 30. A pickup of 16 yards. Makes it 3rd down and short with 6.5 left in the 4th quarter. Big play coming up for Colleyville. Bringing their goal line set with Evan Nieta. Coming into the ball game. Bunched up on the left side of the offensive line, and that's where Colleyville wants to run it. Just getting across the 30-yard line for a pickup. Maybe a yard on the play. Makes it a 4th down. And 2 yards to go. And Colleyville going to bring the special teams unit out to punt once again. So after points on their first 3 drives of the second half, they score 17 to go up by 10, all here in the second half of action. Their next 2 possessions result in punts. And a booming kick by Ryan Zuckert goes out of play around the 30-yard line. And that's where the Cougars will start. Down by 10 with 5:19 to go in all 3 timeouts. Certainly still with an opportunity in this ball game. but they have to act quick. (24-10) Colleyville up by 10. 5:18 left in the fourth, and a 1st and 10 from the 32-yard line. Andrews stepping up in the pocket, moving with his legs once again. Hebeson trying to chase him down. He plies a stiff arm close to midfield on West as he goes out of play. And a good gain for the Cougars on 1st down on the rush by the quarterback. Chevy Andrews has made some nice plays with his legs tonight. In this ball game, about 5 to go in regulation. Cougars down by 2 scores. Andrews with it again. Quick fire to the sideline, and it is completed there to Carterius Brown. Right past the sticks. And that'll move him once again. A 1st and 10 from the 41-yard line now for Arlington Seguin. Pressure coming into the backfield. Andrews gets out of it. It's thrown to the outside and somehow caught by Malachi Mesh. Andrews avoided what would have been a near disaster. Would have set up 2nd and a mile. Instead, he gets out of it and completes a pass to his man Malachi Mesh for a pickup of 4. But gets out of danger way and avoids a big loss. Seguin trying to drive, down by 10. Under 5 to go in the 4th. Lofted over the middle, caught by Jamani Smith. Tackled by Hebeson. Jamani Smith, the junior wideout, with a good hookup over the middle. Sets up another 1st down for the Cougars. They're sideline desperate for another score. Andrews looks down the field, instead gets sacked from behind. Demarius Logan. He's been creating pressure all night, and he comes up with the sack. Big play made in the backfield, a loss of 3, and it's 2nd and 13, under 4 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Cougars getting instruction from the sideline. They do have all 3 timeouts. A score and probably an onside kick try. We'll see if they can do it quickly. Andrews backs up to pass, looks down the field. He wants it all for the score, and it is picked off by Colleyville. Hayden West rips it out of the air, intended for Cohen Peeler in the end zone, and Hayden West with the big pick, and the junior defensive back maybe seals the ball game. A flag on the play. INT for Hayden West in the end zone. And it stands for Colleyville. Flag was in the backfield. And any indication, it looks like it is against the Cougars. something that has been the Achilles heel for them tonight. Oh, man, a huge play made by the Colleyville defense. A scoring kick there makes it a 3-point game. Gave his man Cohen Peeler a chance. But Hayden West also had the opportunity to rip it out of the air. Instead, though, the penalty marker does not stand. It's not Colleyville ball. Instead, it's 2nd and 24. So INT wiped away. Andrews with the football. He's met quickly again and gets rid of it somehow. As Matthew Demba comes in with the pressure, forcing an incompletion for Andrews. Not sure what happened on the play because Seguin got penalized. They moved back, a holding call, 10 yards, presumably. However, it was intercepted. Must they say it was not complete catch in the end zone. And the penalty had to be accepted anyway. It's 3rd and 24. Certainly 2-down territory for the Cougars as they try to continue their chances in this ballgame. But that chance still alive as that interception was wiped away. But there's a big sack in the backfield. Demarius Logan with 2 sacks on this series, and he comes in once again. Demarius Logan, number 13, rushing through the offensive line to sack the quarterback. O-lineman for Seguin, Jackson Harris, down on the play. But a huge loss. Demarius Logan comes through with a big-time play. 2 sacks on this drive. He's created pressure all night. Thought it was a Hayden West interception, which could have ended the ballgame. Instead, it set up 3rd and long. And now 4th and, well, all the way to Dallas is what we'll have when we come back. 30 yards to go on this 4th down, as Seguin will try to keep their chances alive on Panther Friday night on Tradio. We'll be right back.
Can't get enough. Hey, just can't get enough. Come on, let's go. Can't get enough. Start the show. Can't get enough. Yeah. Just can't get enough. Oh, 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 oh.
4th and 29. Game hangs in the balance here with 3:03 to go in the 4th. Andrews getting pressured again. It's Demarius Logan, a man on a mission here tonight, and 3 sacks for him on this drive. Gives Colleyville the football back on 4th and 29. He meets the quarterback, he and Matthew Udemba, penetrating all drive long and really getting to the quarterback all night long. Chevy Andrews made plenty of plays to escape the pressure, but he couldn't on the last 3 times he dropped back. He gets met for sacks and back again. Seguin winning on 4th and 30. They clear passing situation. The pass rush came in full force for Colleyville. They met Andrews in the backfield to a 1st and 10 for Colleyville. And a handoff to Bryce Abram, and he gets tackled right at the 36-yard line. And slow to get up as well on the play. The clock will stop with 2:46 to go as the senior running back is shaken up. Panthers up by 10 with 2:46 left in the 4th quarter. Here in their lone Thursday night game of the season, Bryce Abram shaken up. Our great crew tonight, alongside our executive producer, Hunter Paris, associate producer, Carly Isbell, and the entire Tradio production crew. Been glad to give you and bring you this ball game tonight here in Arlington as the Panthers pay a visit to Seguin, lead by 10 here in the fourth quarter of action with the football. 2nd and 1 awaits. Bryce Abram being tended to on that far sideline, up on his feet now, but made his way off on the Cougars side as he comes out of the ball game. Panthers back in action next Friday night. They'll take on Mansfield Summit, a team that has put together just an incredible district run so far. After losing 51-7 to start the year, they have really started to play some good football. They've yet to lose a district game, and they have a primetime battle. They host Argyle tomorrow night in a battle of two undefeated teams in this district. A chance for first place tomorrow for Summit or Argyle. And Summit, again, the opponent for Colleyville. Next week at Mustang Panther. We'll be live on the airwaves for you next week at 6:27. You can join us next Friday night from Mustang Panther as it is a handoff to Landon Dressel with Gerard Wiley being shaken up in the second half. He came back on. He appears to be all right. And then Bryce Abram just a moment ago goes off the field. They go to Landon Dressel. He has a carry for a first down, but a timeout taken by the Cougars as they have all three. They burn 1, 2 left in the ball game for the Cougars in the timeout department with 2:23 left in the fourth quarter of action. So Argyle, Mansfield Summit, that's the district game, and really across the Metroplex, one of the highlight games coming your way tomorrow as the Eagles pay a visit to Mansfield Summit tomorrow night at RLA Stadium. Over for Mansfield Summit and Argyle, two undefeated teams in the district. And then again, Colleyville will certainly have their eye on that ball game as they're close to moving to 4-1 in district action and would be in a tie for second place in the district with the loser of that ball game tomorrow between those two teams. And then Colleyville will host Mansfield Summit next Friday night. So Colleyville trying to salt away the final 2 and change on the clock here in the fourth quarter. They give it off to Luke Graves. Another timeout taken by the Cougars. Not much to write home about on that carry. Landon Dressel checked that on the run. Graves out there as well. 2:15 to go in this fourth quarter. And Colleyville on their way to another victory. They were down by 7 in the second half, faced a 14-7 deficit at halftime, but come out and score back-to-back touchdowns on their first 2 drives of the second half, add a Ryan Zuckert field goal, and now lead by 10. Just surrendered the 2 first half scoring touchdowns for Seguin. But the defense has come up really strong here in the second half, has limited anything for Seguin, and they've thrown up a donut so far in the second half with the football up 10, 2:15 to go. Seguin just with 1 timeout remaining, and Bryce Abram will carry it on 2nd and 10, and he moves the pile forward up to the 25, 26-yard line. So quality carry there, and that makes it a short yardage situation on 3rd down. Cougars burn their final timeout with 1:58 left in the fourth quarter. So still with a fighting chance left in this ball game. If you are the Cougars, you need a stop right here. Coming up on 3rd and short. Any way you can get the football back, score quickly, but with no timeouts, we'll certainly need to get an onside kick as well. But we will see what they can do. Colleyville scored first in the ball game. Bodie Weaver for his 5th rushing touchdown of the season. A very impressive 17-yard rush and a score. Gerard Wiley and Bryce Abraham with the touchdowns in the second half. All on the ground tonight for Colleyville in the scoring department. Added a field goal as well. And again, it was the first 3 drives of the second half where Colleyville put points on the board to go up by 10. And now a 3rd down and 2. Another carry. And pushing the pile forward. We'll see where they mark the forward progress. Either way, good sign to see Bryce Abraham right back out there. And that is going to be enough for Colleyville to keep the clock moving on a 1st down on 3rd and short. And they get a fresh set with 1:45 to go. Football at the 20-yard line. And Colleyville can just run this clock on out. They can get into victory formation as they'll wait to snap this football, take a couple knees, and head into next week, which would be a massive battle against Mansfield Summit, a team yet to lose in district play, but they'll play another undefeated team in 3-5A D2 tomorrow. The matchup we've alluded to with plenty of playoff implications, and to come on the road against a team that started the season 5-0, but now facing a 3rd consecutive loss if you're Arlington Seguin, really evaporating some of their playoff hopes, really needing to win all 3 of their final games to have a great chance. And this significantly hurts their cause tonight with Colleyville coming away with a victory. Bodie Weaver takes a knee. One more in this game will be in the books. 24-14, your final score here this evening. One more knee for Bodie Weaver, and this one will be in the books. It's all over. Colleyville wins it 24-14. On the road, they pick up a 10-point win and improve to 5-2, winning their 2nd consecutive game. They're now 4-1 in district play and well on their way to another playoff berth despite a much tougher district. Same result for the Panthers. Playoff football on the horizon for them as well. Set up in a really good position now, cementing a playoff spot in 3-5A D2. Seguin drops to 3-3 in district play, falling in their 3rd consecutive matchup. And it's the second half for Colleyville. They erase a 7-point deficit at halftime, and they don't allow anything in the second half. The defense comes to play, and they add 2 touchdowns and a field goal in the second half. 3 rushing touchdowns tonight for 3 different Colleyville Heritage players. The quarterback, Bodie Weaver, and then the running back attack of Bryce Abraham and Gerard Wiley get the job done in the scoring department for Colleyville. Ryan Zuckert with a field goal as well. And that will wrap it up. Colleyville erases a 7-point halftime deficit and come out with a 24-14 victory. They will be in action next Friday night as they host Mansfield Summit at Mustang Panther. We hope to see you there. It'll be on Panther Friday night on Tradio next Friday night at Mustang Panther. Thanks so much for tuning in for our great production crew, our producer Hunter Paris, our associate producer Carly Isbell. I'm Will Connerly saying so long from Arlington. Colleyville wins it 24-14. So long from Wildman Field.